Private sector has been increasingly driven by the property price, almost becoming like Hong Kong, I guess, in a sense. In Singapore, it's slightly better. The affluents are rising, and there's still a fair bit of landed space left for such developments. Yeah. You realize that in Singapore, it's never a culture in controlling aesthetic. The guideline driven that's laid down by URA, for instance, planning, is really quite objective in the sense. It's about distance, about pitch, how many floors, about bulk of the building, right? It's never really about sensitivity, which that's why it is easy to realize certain form of fantasy here with almost no control. The current trend is condominiums are getting smaller, right? I'm sure you know.
Yes.
The apartments, even is expensive. The kind of space is really shrinking, almost approaching like Hong Kong. I think that scenario created the other extreme. That once these guys start moving the landed house, right, the given size of land, they will try to as big as they can. So I don't know. I somehow get this feeling that it's a kind of natural progression. That maybe at the start you sort of like spend a huge amount of money on to stay in a very small apartment, and then you just upgrade a bit, and then you are like starting craving for a huge amount of space out of perhaps a not very big size of land. So the scenario is set up for that kind of situation. You know, there's a direct proportion to land cost, because 10 years ago, construction cost was comparable high. Like you get a piece of land, but you think twice to build big, because it makes sense. Because if you don't need that much space, why do you spend on construction? Because the cost of construction is still a consideration that we will be watchful about. But these days, you get a piece of land, it costs already so much that construction becomes insignificant. That you'll be thinking, why do you not want to build more? Because whatever space you build more will cost a lot more than whatever initial cost that you put in for construction. So that really tipped the balance. That although it's a well-known fact that it's expensive to build in Singapore, but the land is even more ridiculously expensive that it outweighs everything. Down here is different. You build that you are as if you're selling the house tomorrow. In the old days, you move in, okay, I'm going to stay here for 30 years. I don't want to move, right? Or I'm going to grow with the house. The first thing the client will be asking, okay, how much can I sell it next, once the house is built? That kind of concern is entirely driven by the fact that they pay so much over the land they purchase. You could draw the line, yes, it is clear in that sense, but definitely not precisely good for the practice of society at large. It is an unnecessary kind of waste, in a way, to overbuild. I need 6 rooms, 3 to sleep in, music room, study room, gym, right? Entertainment room, playroom. You create all kinds of room, right? And do you really need it? And why do you do that? Because you don't have to think about why do you need some room. It's a vicious cycle. Because many rooms guarantee higher return, irregardless of how creative you are. When your mindset and the society is all driven and focused on that aspect of value system, right? Then you are just talking about dollars and cents. Yeah. You don't really talk about community life, and you talk about transactions, right? If you are setting up a house and a major concern is selling it, that is strange. This constant nagging concern about, is that someone else going to buy my place? Then aren't you? In a way, then I would like to put it that every house owner is kind of like a developer. You're developing your house to sell rather than building a house for yourself.